It's Spoilerin time, folks. This is a companion show to Cordkillers. On Cordkillers, we talk about how to watch things, how it gets into your television. Here, we talk about what we've watched. We're going to be talking about Miami Vice Season 2, Episode 12, Phill the Shill. We'll be talking about the Righteous Gemstones, Season 2, Episode 3, and the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Episode 3. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Hey, more importantly, we are joined by Lamarr Wilson because he watched, I believe it's Boba Fett? Is that what it is?
Yeah. I have watched it. Yes. Yeah.
You've been enjoying the Boba Fett?
I've been enjoying the Fett. I did not know much about his character. I don't think, well, really anybody. He was kind of an obscure character to begin with. But this deep dive, I'm digging. I'm digging the two parts of the series. Like, it's a lot of people don't like it. I see what they're doing, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
All right, well, let's get into the Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 3, The Streets of Mos Espa. This time around, we had a lot more in the present than we have in the past, and a lot of fight scenes going on, Brian.
Yeah, we sure did. We had some wacky, highfalutin shenanigans with space greasers riding on mopeds and wacky, nervous mayoral assistants saying, "Oh, the mayor, I think he's in the back. I might have some extras," and then locking the door and driving his 57 Chevy around.
We got Stephen Root as a ne'er-do-well,
and it's such judicious use of that talent because he is, of course, one of the most gifted actors out there. And when he kept saying, "They stole my water," I really felt it.
Yeah, Lamarr, what did you think of this episode?
Yeah, real quick, wasn't the lady from Mandalorian that's the comedian with the crazy hair? What's her name?
Sedaris.
Wasn't she briefly in this one?
We glimpse her briefly.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool to kind of tie those worlds together. It's like
I totally missed that. That is cool.
Yeah. So this episode to me was what the first one, slow building up, but we got to see a lot of action. But my favorite part was I'm gonna say his name wrong. The Wookiee, the Black Chrysanthemum. Black Chrysanthemum. I didn't know anything about him, so I did a little research. It's like, oh, he comes from. I think he was first brought out in Vader episode, comic one.
Yep.
The first Vader comic or something like that. Bounty hunter, and he was introduced last week, but just to see that fight scene where he just kind of grabs him out of the water tank and like just beats everybody senseless is just the Star Wars I needed. I love seeing a bad Wookiee tearing things up. So I enjoyed that. The chase scene, Brian. I knew you were talking about, like, I was thinking the same thing. I didn't stay that car, but I was thinking, it's like, this dude is driving this old fashioned.
You even hear it half turn over when he tries to start it again.
Yeah, and lastly, I really love the because he obviously Boba Fett is dealing with not having respect, right? He's new, he hasn't earned his respect yet, but I think it was pretty ingenious to recruit the kids, to get on the side, pay him some money, and now they're doing kind of his, not dirty work, but the things that need to be done. I kind of like where that's going.
He's got more help that maybe will be more loyal than just like a straight ahead bounty ally would be, because he helped him out of a jam. I think that's the idea there. We also got the sort of revelation that the Hutts aren't going to try to go head to head with Boba. In fact, they're backing out. They give him a Rancor led by Danny Trejo as a present, and Black Chrysanthemum, whom Boba lets go because somebody else has been given title to that. And the implication seems to be that the Hutts are like, you know what, we'll wait and let you two battle it out, and then we'll come back later. our advice to you, Boba, would be to leave, but no hard feelings. In case you win, here's a Rancor and a Wookiee, and we assume you're going to kill the Wookiee, and that'll be one less problem for us because then we won't have to deal with him. And then they bug out. Brian, did that? How did that go down?
Well, before I start blabbing, because I'm at a crossroads right now. Like, are you enjoying it? Are you digging it? Are you liking it as much as The Mandalorian? Less, more?
Oh, that's a good question. Less or more. I'll say equal in the sense of it's a new story. Again, I like maybe they're done with the split of the old, of like his coming of age, and we find we find out
his
what
time with the Tusken Raiders.
His time with the Tuskens, and I think we're at the end of that. But I really love the split of showing the two sides of that. So I'm really enjoying it. I don't know if it'll be Mandalorian level. Mandalorian's pretty epic when it first came out, but this is going to be an interesting book, and that's what it is. It's stories about Boba Fett. And if you look at it from that point of view, then I don't know. I'm gonna watch it every single week for sure.
And I'll continue to watch it. I'm experiencing a weird level of confusion because what I loved so much about Mandalorian was how stark and brutal it was of a straight up Western. The second episode they got the Mandalorian just grabbing Jawas and throwing them off the side of the sand crawlers and all that stuff. Just brutal. It was hard edged. And then it got softer in the second season and I became less happy. So when Book of Boba Fett started, this is a very silly show. And it is only getting sillier by the minute. And I at a gut level, want to be like, no, go to the edge. But then I think to myself, like, of all the new movies, I think I like Solo the best because it was having fun. And there's one thing you can't deny about this episode of Book of Boba Fett. They're having fun with their crazy space greasers who, what? A nickel? I'll do whatever you say, boss. We're your new thugs. And then it's like, and then the Hutts show up and they are like, we are very expensive to CG, so we will not be in any more episodes. Goodbye.
Isn't that kind of, hold on, give me just for 1 second, because last week, they make this whole thing of the Hutts being foreboding. We're the Hutts. We're going to be your problem. And then this week, at first turn, they go, hey, we got to go. You should leave too. Bye. What? I understand that. Life happens that way, but this is written. Someone wrote this.
It's even
Jon
worse.
Favreau wrote this.
Because on top of that, they wrote dialogue for the Hutts where they say, also, remember what was the most terrifying monster in all of the Star Wars original trilogy? Get ready for him to be your adorable pet. Here's a Rancor.
Just
it's bond to you.
Very strange because I don't know who. I understood the Hutts as the villain. Okay, they hired the bounty hunter and but I don't even know who the bad guy is anymore. I don't know. I forgot.
At the end, the ones marching in, the Pikes. Yeah, I think those are the big bads we're going to have to deal with.
And this is, I think, one of the problems with the Book of Boba Fett is the story is being told out of order, which, as I effusively praised Yellow Jackets on Cordkillers, can be great.
I like it.
But I don't know that the Book of Boba Fett is benefiting from being told out of order. I think it would be better if it was told out of order because what we did get in the flashback was that the Pikes probably ordered the speeder bike gang to wipe out the Tusken Raiders. And that may be fueling Boba Fett's motivation here to become a warlord. I don't think it was Boba Fett's dream to become a warlord in Tatooine. I don't think it's his only option. He came back to Tatooine to do it. He wasn't there. He could have gone somewhere else. So we know that he bonded with the Tusken Raiders. We know that they got wiped out by a biker gang that has connections with the Pikes. And now we know that the Pikes are coming back at the invitation of the mayor and have spooked the Hutts of all people. So they are powerful. That is what I believe you are supposed to take from this episode.
Wow, I was off by a lot.
When I imagine the hard-edged version of this, the more Mandalorian-like version of this, I wish for certain things. And of course, it doesn't matter what I wish for. They can do whatever they want. But what I wish for is show me way early Boba Fett stuff. Show me him learning a code. And we've talked about this. Make him Roland of Gilead. Make me understand why he would want to bring order to this town. Why he was a lost soul traveling as a bounty hunter who is now trying to establish a new order. But we don't have that, and it's only getting sillier from here. So I think I'm just deciding to just dive right, get even more sillier. Let's do a space musical. Like, you don't understand. When the Imperial fleet gets here, we got to hit this jazz number. Boba Fett, take it away.
Okay, to be fair, I mean, and I'll concede with that, but didn't Mandalorian has some episodes that you're like,
by the second season is when it got silly. First season was hard edge the whole way through, and I loved it.
Yeah, and it definitely got. I think you said softer or something like that. Yeah, it definitely got softer, more self-contained episodes. They're like, why is this episode here?
So, because you have to introduce this character that's a crossover from another thing, and we need to see more plush Grogu's and that stuff.
I definitely enjoyed The Mandalorian more than I am so far enjoying Boba Fett. That's not to say I'm not enjoying Boba Fett at all. I am curious where we're going with that backstory, because Lamarr, it did feel like they're wrapping it up, but there's a big gap of like, they sort of imply like he came back, the speeder bike people had wiped everybody out, and that's it. I guess he left. I don't think that's where we're going to leave it. I think what we're going to find out is that he goes to find out if anybody survived. We didn't see all the bodies, and possibly somebody did survive. And we are going to, over the last couple episodes here, get the explanation of, and therefore, because of that, he swore vengeance against the Pikes, even if it took however many years between the flashback and the current episode. And that's where I think we're going, is we're gonna get a couple more flashbacks of that, of where he goes next and how he gets tied up. I'm with you, Bryce, though. I'm still a little confused about why the Hutts show up at all.
Why bother?
Just to peace out, right?
Yeah.
It might surprise us later. Do you think, because there was a comic, I think it was some comics that alluded to the idea of that Black Chrysanthemum will come back and team up with him at some point, because they left on decent terms. He let him go.
He's got a life debt now, right? Isn't that how Wookiees work? Like, saved his life.
I can't see this being the end of him. I think that's gonna be pretty fascinating. There was a video I saw that mentioned that he could possibly be in the what's the other Disney Plus one that's coming up?
Lady and the Tramp.
The guy.
Yes, yeah, he will be there. He will be in
High School
Obi-Wan.
Musical.
Obi-Wan, right?
the Obi-Wan. Yeah, they could possibly be Obi-Wan based on comics. That they met years before. So I think he's going to be an important character in the Star Wars lore. I'm fascinated by him.
Well, he's already an important character in the comics lore, so that makes sense if they're going to introduce him here to be like, we're going to make full advantage. There's also a couple other characters in the Dr. Aphra series that pal around with Black Chrysanthemum that we may or may not have gotten a glimpse of. A homicidal protocol droid and astromech are in the comics. We saw protocol droid get focused on, followed by an astromech. So that'd be kind of fun if we get homicidal droids enter into the story as well.
There's I don't know if this would be a comics thing or if they would even have the rights to it, because I don't know how it's all parsed out. But in Knights of the Old Republic, there's an HK psychotic droid that would be neat to see some video game crossover as well.
Yeah. That's not impossible either. All right. Any other thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett?
Nope. I just want it to get sillier from here. I want to see him he makes it to the palace, and it's a big party, and there's Bib Fortuna, and he's like Nejaba Nobada and all that, and he says there's only one way to fix it, a dance off, and then they dance. He dances the best, and that's the Book of the Boba Fett.
Lamarr, is that what you're looking forward to?
That's it. I want dancing and nothing but dancing.
Freestyle rap
to Michael Jackson's Thriller, if possible.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Well, that is it for the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Episode 3. Lamarr Wilson, thank you so much. Really appreciate you sticking around and chatting Boba Fett with us, man.
That was really fun. You made me more looking forward to it this week. So thanks for having me on, and I'll see you all the next time.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to send you so many boxes. You're going to unbox them all. It's going to be great.
What's the website again?
Lamarr.tv.
2 R's, right?
Yes. Thank you all so much for having me.
Take care, man.
All right, take care.
Let's talk The Righteous Gemstones, Season 2, Episode 3. After a big, mystery, reporter got killed, who did it, blood on the pants of Eli Gemstone, we get this episode, Brian.
Tom, maybe you're sensing a theme, but I was down for the silly of this hard-boiled detective story led by Danny McBride as he tries to piece together the clues, only to find out that the real answer, either in a serious version of this, is a very implausible lie, or as I would like it, just a very silly explanation. Because that whole scene when it's revealed, I guess to recap, they're trying to piece together whether or not their father is actually a criminal who killed the
journalist.
The journalist, and they none of them know his birthday, which is the code to his phone.
And they had to Google it.
And they found out it was last week.
Well, that was the best part. Like, oh, we all way off. It was last week, y'all. That's bad news.
And then there's ambiguous texts that make it look like they just whacked someone, but instead what it was he was manscaping and
he cut himself
very badly in the genitals.
That was hard to watch. Yeah,
it's close. It hits close to home.
Yeah,
that's a real thing. It's a real issue.
And that could hurt. It could hurt a lot.
It does.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious as well. I thought. However, that this was an unusually slow episode for Righteous Gemstones. I was like, come on, let's get back to it. We just wandered around. I did find it hilarious that also they were fine with their father having murdered the journalist Samuel Block, but got very upset that he had betrayed the memory of their long-dead mother by fooling around with a woman.
Well, their confusion, they're all like, not mama, no, not your mother. And you're like, he's been a widower for a decade. And they're confused why he's ineligible.
And then they kept it. They kept it having that, like, they came back to the kids and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm still mad at him for cheating on mama. Like, oh, that's so good. It's so much better than doing any of this other stuff of who killed and who did this. No, it's so good. It's so smart.
I enjoyed the humor of this. I really was a little bored though. I was a little bored for the first time.
I remember there was also a pretty decent B plot as we learn more about
with the guy with the bod squad.
Yeah. And realizing they're doing a take on the power team, and the idea that Adam Devine's character, what's his name again?
Kelvin.
Kelvin, so obviously, like, there's no universe where of the siblings he's going to become the alpha. So he decides to create his own branch where at least he could be the top of this part of the MLM scheme.
Well, and one that is not just children. Because that's where he was last year. He's
a youth pastor. And he's like not going to be a youth pastor for long, he says.
And then meanwhile...
Although the bod squad does get into trouble, in a youth pastor setting.
Well, and then also immediately, like, it's very clear that Kelvin created this so that he could feel like he's the one in charge of something, and then immediately has his authority challenged by this Conan the Conqueror leading back Titus.
Huge MFer too. They got some big guys on this show, boy.
They got some beefcake for sure.
They got some huge men for this show.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, Tom, about maybe this is not the densest, fastest episode.
And honestly, now that we're talking about it, I'm pretty sure it was the Bod Squad parts where I started to drift a little more. Like, I get it. It's funny. It's well executed. And the casting is like over the top ridiculous, like y'all are saying. But I was less invested in that. And I was like, no. Let's get back to Junior. And we did. We eventually got there. So again, I'm not saying it was a bad episode or anything. It's just I was really into those first two, and this one slowed down. Which honestly, that's probably for pacing. You know, you don't want to play all your cards at once, right?
These are definitely side quests, right? You're playing Skyrim, and then you're like, yeah, sure, I'll become a wizard. I'll also become a thief. I'll also become an assassin, and for this side quest, they decided to just try on for size. What if we tried to make these characters who are very well developed and are just electric on screen? What if we decide to have them be slapstick detectives trying to badly solve a crime, and it had a silly ending? What if we also did a Conan the Barbarian thing for just a little bit? I don't expect those to lead anywhere, but just to, like, they can keep on going with all this. Like did you notice Edie Patterson with the giant magnifying glass?
Yes, just out of nowhere, just some prop comedy.
It's so good.
They didn't call attention to it. They didn't explain it. Just like, yeah. And then we get Junior getting the brush off from Eli, because Eli is pretty convinced that Junior killed the journalist and wants nothing to do with them, because he doesn't want to get dragged in. He's already been dragged in farther than he feels comfortable, especially with a journalist that's was looking around to find scandal, and that's just going to invite more. And that's where we finally have Junior show up and talk to him at the where was it that he found him? It was somewhere out.
It was like at a gas station or something.
He was always coming out of the convenience store, right?
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, season 1, the overarching drama was sort of a heist movie with Gideon. You had this wayward son coming back trying to screw them over. So
and the Baby Billy stuff.
Yes, correct. Who were still waiting as a wild card to resurface. In season 2. If they want to make, if that arc wants to be a mystery that gets resolved at the end, then I'm down for that. It is possible for them to take too many side roads and make me lose interest. But right now, my goodness, I want to see every stereotypical archetypal movie and TV show covered. I want to see a Star Trek version of the Gemstones. I want to see everything.
I'll say we've been, because it's back, we've been talking about it a lot on the podcasts here, and I'm still, I think something that has been brought up by a few different people has been like, well, the Righteous Gemstones is like respectful to their religion, and I get the sense that they are at least going to tease us, if not have it be a part of the text of Eli maybe is not a believer. They are certainly asking the question here of like, how much of this is a grift that he is in on, and how much of this is him taking advantage of something he truly believes in, which I think is just I don't think that they're gonna. I don't know that they're gonna do it, but my Doppler radar is up on that, because that's gonna be a weird thing.
I think one of the geniuses of Righteous Gemstones is that they. Respectful may be overstating it. I've certainly said it that way, so I'm not exempting myself from it. But they haven't made faith the butt of the joke.
Right.
Somebody
And-
who is legitimately faithful is never the butt of the joke.
And faith itself is the third rail. It's the electric, like you know, the satanic boy. You know, don't go back to Satan. You know, and it's like, but you can always come back. You know, it's like,
and I've definitely seen comedies where the faithful is made to look like what a dupe, right?
Right.
And here, what we found is that it's the lack of faith that is where the humor is, right? It's the fact that Jesse maybe doesn't fully believe. And it's always a revelation when you get to a point where one or the other of the gemstones reveals that they do. So I think you're right, Bryce, that we may be about to explore what has previously just been left unspoken, which is Eli a true believer or not, or does it matter, right?
Yeah, and there's decades between his childhood as a wrestler and a tuft, and today. So there's obviously a lot of off ramps for it, but I don't know. It's been something that's pricked my ears these past 2 weeks, because it's been brought up in most of the conversations that we've talked about it, and to me it seems like that is a bright neon light of a plot point that they're going to try to hit, at least.
That he may have very well started the church
under like
purely cynically.
Yeah.
Right. And then in which case that would be horrifying, but almost certainly the story would end with, but then I came to understand and, you know, felt
like, you know, there's certainly a lot of space to criticize mega churches, and this show is not afraid to show that sort of excess either.
Right.
Right.
So I wonder how if you play that balance.
Thread that needle. Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on the Righteous Gemstones? After I leave, savage wolves will come. Episode 3. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, that's not the episode we watched.
I was like, After I leave, savage wolves will come was last episode. This is For He Is a Liar and the Father of Lies.
No, outside of it's a great show.
All right. That is the Righteous Gemstones Season 2, Episode 3. Let's talk about Miami Vice. I don't know about y'all, but in my mind, I often associate Miami Vice with Phil Collins, because I had the Phil Collins cassette and the Miami Vice cassette right next to each other in my cassette collection growing up. And In the Air Tonight from Phil Collins is always associated in my mind with Miami Vice. And this is that glorious episode where Phil Collins got cast as Phill so that he would know when they were talking to him. Phill the Shill is the name of this episode from season 2, in which Phil Collins plays a grifter, plays a scammer, who's on the run and trying to get away with stuff, both as a contest, as a TV contest winner, and all kinds of other scams.
The opening scene is so
TV
over the top.
Host, I should say.
As a game show host, it's so over the top. It looks like for a second I was like, are we watching Time Bandits? I mean, it's so over the top. And he's so he actually does a really good job. I wouldn't have expected him to play a comedic, like, I mean, he plays it for laughs. It's over the top. But on top of that, we have one of the Vice Squad is obviously just trying to, you know, make some money on the side.
Calls
and
in
then
sick. Yeah.
is bitter because he is getting stiffed on some money. You know, he's the morally gray of the group, I guess. And
well, he got cheated out of the game.
Yes, correct.
So it's morally okay that he's upset about getting stiffed. He gets morally ambiguous in his methods in going after the guy.
Well,
right?
Exactly, and that he decides to make a case against him or use him to punish him. Man, this is it's just getting more 80s from here, gentlemen. It's
I'll be honest. I think the best thing in this episode was the Rat Race song from Phil Collins.
Yes!
I was like, that's actually a pretty good song. You know? That's a way better song than a show like that would have.
Well, and then later on, we're not watching enough episodes for me to get the names, but when they're having the crazy cocaine party and he bumps the LP, and then all of a sudden a Phil Collins song plays, and he's just like, "Great choice of music, mate."
Yeah, we also got a cameo from Emo Phillips as the Rat Race contestant, who is obviously the shill. In this case, he's the one who is able to win, and has very clearly been fed a line.
Yeah. And it's silly. It's over the top. They're getting closer to. I think this is the first time we've actually seen somebody almost use cocaine
Instead of just testing it.
Yes, exactly.
But we definitely got word for word the line. This is the 80s. Everybody takes drugs.
Oh, just a weird
Which
one.
is hilarious because I hear people say like, oh, that was back in the 80s when everybody took drugs. I'm like, wow, I guess even then they knew. Like, that would be the line about the 80s. And an exploding briefcase. Nice trope with the exploding briefcase.
Totally unnecessary, wildly inappropriate, absolutely. And I believe would be something that would cause, like if they had handed them and accepted the money and got them on tape accepting the deal, they could have taken them to jail, but instead they had a mad cat. They might as well have opened up the briefcase and had a boxing glove on a spring pop out and knock them in the face. And by the way, as all carnivals do when they're left overnight, everything is left on,
and running. Just
right. Yeah. We just didn't see the moment when he said, "Hold on, I need to run in here and turn on all the breakers. Give me a second."
Oh, I mean, I really enjoyed this.
We haven't even mentioned Kira Sedgwick as Phill the Shill's love interest. I don't know if that's overstating it, but yeah, as Sarah McPhail, who's how he engineers his scam of the big guy, right? Of the real criminal.
Yeah, the guy higher up the ladder. It was worth sticking around past the very last, before the credits, to see him come back trying to do a Southern accent as a TV evangelist, faith healing priest.
Right, and it was lovely to go right into Righteous Gemstones after that. It was a perfect segue.
Look, I don't know about you guys. As we continue to do, we make no. Every time we do one of these, we're like, do we keep going? And I'm in. I'm turning my key.
I just I will turn my key as well. I just added just in case we keep going some of the season 3 episodes with interesting cameos, because in case anybody isn't aware, we're not watching these in order. We're just watching ones with interesting guest stars. We've got Helena Bonham Carter.
Wow.
Coming up. Viggo Mortensen.
Ooh.
Willie Nelson.
Wow.
Bill Paxton.
Before we run out of time or I forget, there's this really great weird power play moment with Edward James Olmos and Crockett, because like they're looking at a report and Crockett hands it to him and he reaches for it and Edward James Olmos says, "I'm keeping this." And then Crockett says, "Well, then get me a copy." And he goes, "You bet." You're like, what was that?
And then the thing they're actually talking about, he doesn't care. He's like, "I'm gonna do this." Well, don't kill anybody. Bye. Yeah. Close my door on the way out.
Highly recommended. Just if you have an account on Peacock, this is either episode 12 or 11 of season 2, I believe. Just watch the first 5 minutes.
Well, I've heard all of that.
Phill
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess we do have people who have said that they're listening to this segment of the show and not watching Miami Vice.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely go find the first 5 minutes of it. However you can find it. Any other thoughts on Miami Vice season 2? Phill the Shill.
Key turned. Keep going.
Key turn.
Full-
Key turn.
Forward.
Guitar.
Full steam.
All right, that's going to do it for Spoilerin Time. Once again, folks, if you support patreon.com/Cordkillers, you get these episodes early. You get them broken out into individual shows. It's very nice. Go find it. Patreon.com/Cordkillers. Next week, of course, we'll talk about the next episode of the Book of Boba Fett. That's episode 4. Also, episode 4 of the Righteous Gemstones. And we will also be returning to Miami Vice for episode 13 of season 2, called Definitely Miami, with special guest star Ted Nugent.
Nice.
So yeah, please join us next time for that. That's Spoilerin Time. We'll spoil you again next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.